going against the Swiss #1 seed, Bobby X, or from the Fall Championship, already worlds bound.
Is banned, and the Hakar Druid is banned, which is a little bit of a shame for me.
Cthulhu Druid, that just gets the win on turn 11 or 12 every time. As long as it's not being beaten down by aggro and it's just allowed to do its own thing, it always draws through its whole deck because of the life tap afforded to it. And even just this APM priest, or whatever you want to call it, or the topsy-turvy priest, this also gets the win very quickly if it's not aggroed down.
It really does, and this is going to be kicking off this series. Is the mirror of the double topsy-turvy going to go down now? Bloodyface versus Noblord. Bloodyface are already feeling good about his year of HCT so far. Noblord, everything to play for. The winner goes on to champs. The loser goes into the losers round and tries a second go.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about with Ike the deservedness of him getting through to the Winter Championships, but for Noblord, having made literally every America's playoffs and played prelims, and still waiting to have a truly big breakout performance, or breakthrough, I should say.
And this deviation is already something I want to talk about, Garrett, because, you know, Bloodyface throws the quest, and Noblord keeps the quest, and has Noblord now realized, you know, the issue, basically?
But Bloodyface drew it as the first card off the top of his deck.
And Noblord's just cracking up. Yeah. So Noblord, knowing he did not mulligan correctly straight off the bat, was glad that Bloodyface effectively -1 card, and that is just funny.
Because I was going to bring that up. I was anticipating they would both mulligan the quest. What does it do?
Yeah, well, put yourself to 40 after you played Death Rattles, but yeah, nothing in the grand scheme of things. But again, I'll just mention it. That happened, and Bloodyface, no reaction whatsoever.
Yeah.
Noblord cracking up. And it just shows that Bloodyface just always looks calm no matter what. He might not be feeling it, but that's the way he's perceived at least.
And that is one of my favorite aspects of Noblord as a player and a person, is just how surprisingly meme literate he is. A
quality you appreciate in any
more than anything.
Okay, so these are looking very mirrored games as well.
Yeah.
Both loot hoarders buffed up, both Thanos is on the board. The heals to stop the loot hoarder trading to reduce the card draw down. We told you were in for some wacky matches, and we're already kicking it off.
This is just whatever the tutorial of Hearthstone teaches you to do, you should do literally the exact opposite, I think, in this matchup. Like, if you have a board, whew, better get rid of this board real quick. I do not want to have any minions here.
Definitely strange. And it requires an in-depth knowledge of the matchup as well, because, you know, you might have practiced, okay, how do I play this deck versus Evenlock, or versus Druid, or Paladin? You know, you might just not practice the mirror that much, because it's not like this is a highly brought deck. All we've done all weekend is cast Cloning Gallery and Control Priest, and this is neither.
Well, dare I say, they both have not practiced this very much, because one player kept the quest, one didn't. One of them must have made a mistake in that.
Yeah, drawing the quest.
Well, yeah, I suppose. But it's an interesting point to bring up yet again, as this, at the moment, you know, it's some weird stuff going on, but it's pretty much just drawing cards, trying to not overdraw, get rid of your board so it can't be Psychic Screamed. But keeping the quest is interesting because it does actually have some merit. If you can stick the 8/8 onto the board that is afforded to you, that can act as the boar in the combo. You do not need a charge minion then, because it's stuck on the board. And, well, I suppose any minion that sticks
can make an attack. Yeah,
any minion that sticks can do that. But Amara is most likely to stick because it is fairly chunky.
And, you know, this deck never really took off. But what are these players actually looking for to create the OTK combo? Because a lot of people watching, I imagine, won't know, and I imagine there's some people on the desk won't exactly know sometimes, depending on the outcomes, because it can get a little bit wacky. But at a base level, what are they looking for?
Yeah, so what you're looking for is Test Subject, Divine Spirit, Topsy-Turvy, Stone Tusk Boar, and then 3 out of the 4 of 2 Radiant Elementals and 2 Vivid Nightmares.
Yeah.
Because you need to be able to create 3 Radiant Elementals by the end of the combo. It gets very weird, but the interesting part, I believe, is along the way how players go about finding that with plays like this. Because you're playing 2 test subjects, you can very happily throw down the first one, even copy it with Vivid Nightmare, as we saw, to kind of duplicate the Vivid Nightmares. He's created this from nothing.
Yeah, and as you said, these Vivid Nightmares now, well, there's 2.
Brilliant.
So you're already feeling pretty good about life. You're ticking towards that combo pretty nicely. Divine Spirit, Radiant in there.
He literally just needs the ball, right?
Yes.
Which means does he have lethal next turn if this sticks? Because the combo is 8 mana, if I'm correct in remembering. It's either 8 or 9, and if he already has the minion on board, he doesn't need to play the boar.
So he needs 1 for the gnome. There's the Radiant, which will -1. So then there's Vivid Nightmares, which would then go to the next Vivid Nightmares is 1, so it'll be 2 and 1.
5.
But then everything becomes free.
I honestly think the combo might be their next turn if this isn't killed off.
Wow, and can you even make that call if you're Bloodyface? Like,
I mean, what a play from Noblord as well to create the second Vivid Nightmare, possibly just spotting that the combo is right there.
I'm kind of okay to just go on this ride with you here, Derek,
Yeah,
because like, I'm just sitting going, wait, is he just dead?
I am very possibly making a mistake here, but
well, we're about to find out.
It might be that he needs to wait till next turn.
You don't take this deck and not know circumstances like this, right? You don't bring this deck to playoffs if you can't recognize things like this. And he had the 2 Nightmares. So it'll be 3 mana with the 2 minions.
Yeah.
Vivid becomes 2. You play 1, so that's 5 mana. Then the next Vivid becomes 1. You play that. That's 6 mana. And then everything's free.
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
I don't know, dude. I honestly don't know.
Oh, wait. Do you need to replay the Leponome, which costs more mana?
Well, you never replay it, right? Because it just copies it and then you flip it with Vivid Nightmare.
Right, sure. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm just trying to think of ways that it can cost more. And I think that's what Noblord's doing right now, to be honest.
He's figuring through it, and the longer he takes, he may just not have the time to do it. So I wouldn't begrudge him at all for just holding back if he's not sure it's there.
Well, also, it's unlikely that he's dead next turn. So maybe he's like, give me a minute to work it out, and I'll use this turn to work it out.
Yeah,
and
I think
I'll kill him
actually
next turn.
he never dies next turn because Bloodyface doesn't have a minion, so he has to spend the 1 mana for board, which means he's not there. And I mean, if Noblord doesn't see it, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm making a mistake and it wasn't there, because I trust Noblord much more than I do myself with this deck. But it was an interesting position. Maybe it was just there. Who knows?
Now, we talked about just a bit before we joined the desk here that maybe this matchup between these both players across all decks goes pretty long.
Yeah.
But you can see very quickly that these combo decks do actually end the game, especially when you're looking at Mecha'thun, Warlock being in there as well.
Maybe he was just one off. Mass Hysteria, though, I think this is looking more and more like this is actually just it now.
I believe his second top seed doesn't actually change anything, does it?
He's going for it.
Well played.
Oh, and there's the well played already. Bloodyface knows, yeah, the seance will duplicate,
yeah.
It's effectively the same outcome, and there you go.
That is how volatile this matchup is, and for Noblord as well. Although I was kind of brushing over the first few turns because it looked like they were just drawing a whole bunch of cards, and there were, some tricks along the way with healing opponents' minions. That one play from Noblord to copy the Vivid Nightmare is really what was so gorgeous here, realizing he does not need the Stone Tusk Fort if he sticks something in play. And he's just floating 1 mana here, isn't he? So he did technically have it last turn, I think, if he wanted to go for it, but...
Wait, has Noblord done something wrong?
No, he's got it right. Noblord does not mess this.
It's just because maybe he's just locked it in and already done everything, and the game's catching up.
He's got it.
Okay, yeah, you're right. This one's difficult to mess up now, because it's just you top seed and kill them, and wow. Out of nowhere, Noblord takes the first game, and as you said, a very volatile mirror match because there's not a lot that your opponent can do to stop it outside of clear Bloodyface in the Priest mirror. But now he's moving on. It's 1-0, Noblord going for the Mecha'thun Warlock versus this Priest again. And this one might be a little bit more difficult because we talk about how fast Mecha'thun Warlock gets the job done. Does this Priest just get it done quicker?
Well, we did clearly see in that last game, what was it, turn 7 there was the potential for lethal, and turn 8 lethal was delivered, which is that is strictly faster than Mecha'thun Warlock can kill you. I think even in the absolute god draw scenario, you never draw your deck before turn 9, I think, and then the lethal on turn 10. But I think usually you're drawing through your whole deck when you're not being pressured on turn 10 or 11, kill them the following turn. If Bloodyface doesn't get the god draw that Noblord got last time, he could just be losing this game because of that. the potential, if it goes perfectly, the Priest will win this.
Right.
But the Warlock is more consistent in its draw, even though its combo may technically be slower.
Yep, the second Bloodyface just whiffs on something, doesn't draw the boar, because also as well, it's less likely the Warlock will let a minion stay up or unfrozen in the hint of this Glacial Shard here, for example, so...
Mind if I roll knee?
So, as you can see, both decks just... What an age we live in, Darren. Hearthstone is no longer about minions hitting each other. It's about players drawing cards.
It's so unbelievably backwards. Noblord here deliberately keeping his opponent's minions alive so that Twilight's Call cannot resurrect them and keep the card draw going. He just wants to keep them alive as long as possible, because the chip damage here, who cares? He's not dying, he's got heal in the deck, he will never be dying to this minion pressure. It's just he wants to slow down the card draw as much as he can.
Yeah, now with the Wax Elemental, also a very nice minion at 100% just stalling, because it doesn't kill anything that attacks into it, it just buys time.
Looking at Bloodyface's hand, every card in his hand is a piece of the combo at the moment. 3 more card draws coming in from his board as well, as Noblord yet again makes it so Bloodyface cannot kill off his own board. This is like one of the first things you learn about Hearthstone, is like, at first you're very hesitant to kill any minions like Loot Hoarder that draw a card when they die, but eventually you realize, it doesn't really make too much difference when they die, you just want to lock down the board. Here for for Noblord, he is going all in, just keeping them alive no matter what.
Right, and now there's too many minions to really stop.
Yeah.
Defile can come down. Yes, Bloodyface draws a lot of cards, but Noblord draws some cards too, so it's absolutely fine.
And also, it's getting not quite there, but it's getting a little bit closer to Psychic Scream. And even though he wants lots of minions on the board at the start of the game, turn 7 onwards, Noblord wants absolutely no minions on the board at any point.
Right.
If he gets all the combo pieces for Mechathune, in which I'm obviously talking about Double Galvanizer, Blood Bloom, Cataclysm, and Mechathune itself, he will very happily burn every card out of his deck at that point, just so he doesn't have to play minions.
And we might even see, minion played Hellfire. Just to keep it empty, keep it cooking, keep the hand space clear. And there's Mechathune, which means now Galvanizer can be played. Galvanizer is not part of the OTK, it just enables the OTK. So
he can play
you
it
can just drop it down now. Now that Mechathune's in hand, just throw it down.
And I love this as well from Noblord. Loads of minions being played on this turn to clear off hand space before turn 7. This is going into turn 6. Next turn, Hellfire, Defile, Godfrey, whatever, he can kill off this whole board. Just to stop the Psychic Scream from shuffling minions back into his deck.
Now we can just play this Thanos and Hellfire if he really wants to, or
Thanos, Defile, like
maybe
whatever.
Defile.
As long as he keeps the card draw rolling, he's going to be happy.
As long as a minion stays off the board as well for
sorry.
Bloodyface. Bloodyface will not want an attack. Sorry. Noblord will not want Bloodyface to have an attack because he could just die quite easy, especially with this low health total.
That's a good point.
You might just die randomly, and it sounds silly, but two Divine Spirits and the top scene, you're dead. Galvanizer going to reduce the Ziliax as like a side thing there.
Yeah.
But there's just one more Galvanizer and Noblord is almost good to go.
And the important thing as well is as soon as Noblord finds the second Galvanizer, he can start just burning every card in his deck. He does not care.
Solarium is locked and loaded, ready to go.
Whatever. You just turbo through your whole deck.
Funnily enough as well, a little bit strange, but the Galvanizer being magnetized as a Galvanizer means that Psychic Scream, oh no, I draw my Galvanizer again. Sweet.
Yeah.
Very nice play from Noblord there. And there you go. There's the Galvanizer. So now, the third Galvanizer does not matter.
Yes,
the combo's the combo, so now you just burn again.
That's a good point.
So you actually Psychic Screamed a quicker way for Noblord to win the game back into the deck. It sounds weird, but the Ziliax was magnetized, so it's still just one minion.
So was that just a misplay from Bloodyface then?
It's hard to make a call that your opponent just doesn't have the other Galvanizer anyway.
Yes, exactly, because Noblord could have the second one in hand, but he would have played that probably by this point, right? Why would he hold it back if he had the second one?
I guess he could always play it. I mean, yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's hard. But it's just funny the way, like, Noblord with a very nice play of, I play a minion, it either heals me, it's a taunt, or you Psychic Scream it, and I'm likely to draw it again. Perfect.
Because obviously, Bloodyface knows that Noblord is very unlikely to play more than 1 minion again.
Yes.
But even if it's just 1 minion, that's the same effect, right? As here, Noblord decided to go for
Solarium.
another Novice Engineer instead of Defile. He could have just let the Novice Engineer get burned and played Defile to destroy 2 of his minions. Yes, it means he draws 1 less card because the Novice Engineer is burned, but on average, overall, he now has more cards he has to draw.
Interesting.
It did not work out for him well at all.
Now he knows, though, that the millionth galvanizer of the day.
Yeah.
Now he knows, though, that everything's gone. The weird part is he doesn't have any heal anymore.
Yeah, it's like
so
the combo for Bloodyface could just be Boar to win the game.
Oh yeah, he has to spellstone because he can't tap. He can't go to 4
because otherwise Cataclysm would kill him.
Blood Bloom kills him with Cataclysm.
Yeah. Wow.
What a
weird
What
game.
is Hearthstone? Blizzard, what's Hearthstone nowadays? I'm confused.
Ankle Biter was...
One was played.
One was overdrawn by the Solarium, and Ziliax has been played and then unwritten from existence when the Psychic Scream happened.
Nice way of putting it.
So Corpse Taker no longer has lifesteal, I believe.
Yeah, it shouldn't have, as far as I'm concerned, unless we're just
Maybe
blanking
we're
on a
missing
card in the
something.
deck list, but
But
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure we're not.
Double Ankle Biter plus Ziliax is the lifesteal left in the deck.
Okay,
The
so
amount of heal is limited.
4 cards, although Acolyte Defile.
Yeah.
Because Noblord almost can barely tap right now.
Yes.
Because in no world could he go to 4 health and not be able to heal.
Bloodyface making a nice play of almost certainly destroying off his 2 minions here to increase the draw. Sad that he gets the resurrection on the test subject instead of a dead ring.
Oh. Wait.
That was shuffled into his deck.
No, I'm just thinking, so does Novice Engineer Acolyte Defile draw him his deck? It does, right? 1, 2, 3.
Him, though. He doesn't want to overdraw because the damage that he takes.
But
It
he wins
matter.
next turn.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
He wins next turn, right?
Yeah,
So I
you're
think the Novice Engineer has actually opened up that Defile to actually win the game.
Or he could just tap here. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, you
Right,
play
yeah,
the
yeah,
second
yeah,
one,
yeah.
as long as you draw the final card next turn and you clear your board so that it can't be screamed again. Even though I think
Both Screams were
both
played.
screams were
Yep.
played and neither were from Visions. Right.
Correct.
I don't know, man. It's looking like it's all on not Bloodyface to
Well
find the
played.
combo right now, but he... Oh, no, wait, he's got it. He's got the full combo.
did we just...
With the test subject. He picked up the test subject, which was exactly the card he needed.
Oh, wow.
Just in time.
And you've got to ask yourself, was the Scream earlier and the no Defile a problem?
Maybe that would have given him the 1 turn earlier to get the combo he needed. But as long as Bloodyface doesn't mess this up, which his opponent's at 8 health, how could he?
It's very difficult, right? You're not
It's
trying to
very
hit...
difficult.
You're not hitting through taunts. You're not hitting through armor. Just deal 8 damage.
Oh, man, so close in this matchup.
Yeah, and maybe the Defile earlier was just better.
I don't know. We'd have to go through it. This is the kind of thing where the players like Noblord, who are so good at figuring out discrete differences in
Right.
lines, would be thriving, but it doesn't work out from here on.
Bloodyface, yeah, pulling this off with 0 hands as he takes a drink from his water ball because he is already locked in this combo. Now he can just Vivid Nightmares the ball. Nothing too fancy, just 2 4-attack balls will get the job done. And Bloodyface takes a win there with the Priest. We were maybe too laser focused on Noblord setting up the 1-turn kill after drawing all his deck. But Bloodyface getting a win, and now 2 games in a row, this Priest is just on. We're going to move swiftly on, and we're going to hit the question mark for you, Derek. Bloodyface on the Quest Rogue, Noblord on the Paladin.
Yeah, the Paladin is obviously on both sides. I feel like that's going to be struggling for both players here. Like you said, the Quest Rogue for me is a question mark because I have been taught throughout months of playing Hearthstone where Quest Rogue has always been a pretty good deck, or at least a meta call if you're in a high control meta. It should be destroying this lineup. It's no aggro decks. Quest Rogue destroys everything that isn't aggro, but I just feel like in today's Hearthstone, where late game combos are so powerful, Quest Rogue's just too slow a lot of the time.
Yeah, and also I think it's a mixture of the value-orientated Quest Rogue of today is not the aggressive Quest Rogue of, when they were 5/5s, needed less bounces. It was pretty much an OTK deck, right? A lot of the time you just killed someone after the quest.
Yeah.
That's not really the case anymore. And as we said, the big question now is, can it get the job done? And one thing I will say, Bloodyface has been getting the job done so far because he's here in the winners match.
Yeah.
So it's been doing something, but can it beat this kind of heavy combo lineup that Noblord's playing?
To be perfectly honest, I do not know. I have
Same.
not been playing any quest rogue at all on ladder. If I have seen any rogue, it's pretty much all just been odd rogue. But it will be
Or
very
a
interesting to
strange
find out.
smattering of Malygos rogue I've had on ladder over the last few days.
Yeah, thanks, Jackie.
Yeah.
As already Hearthstone rules have gone out the window. Here, you know what? Have a divine shield on your minion. Why not?
Bloodyface there, you can see his road of destruction that led him to this point with, you know, big wins. Double win over Killing All Day as he met him in the Swiss a little bit earlier in the weekend. Win over Language Hacker, the previous champion.
Nice bit of revenge.
Yeah, APX Void as well, Villain. You know, these are all fantastic wins and pretty convincing by looks things too.
Yeah, just a great meta read. Against most of the players, a lot of whom had Odd Warrior as well. You just never ever lose.
We can check out Noblord and how he did win over ETC. And then maybe a little less star-studded, you know, path to victory here for Noblord, but still a very strong performance nonetheless.
I mean, it's not bad. ETC, I think, came in at like 6th seed in terms of points so far.
Starfruit doing well as well.
Starfruit doing very well. Yep, Clay just narrowly missing the top 8 cut as well.
Noblord gonna consecrate that shield back off. It's like, no, you're done with it now. Man, I want it back. Like a neighbor who's borrowed a power tool for too long.
Yeah, but instead of just asking for it back, they consecrate your house. A particularly zealous neighbor.
Gotta be careful who you lend tools off. But mainly killing off that minstrel is just, you're not allowed that kind of value, right? I don't want you to just draw your deck and then play whatever you want.
I think it's also just playing a card from his hand, right? Like, he's got Pyro Equality for a board clear if needed.
Only 4 off lethal if this Holy Wrath.
Even just letting rip with the Holy Wrath there, he runs 2 copies in his deck, so he's still given himself that avenue for Shavala OTK, and also still got the avenue for Horseman OTK, depending on which is most appropriate.
Every time someone targets a minion with Holy Wrath, I always want it to hit for 25. It's just funny. It's like, that minion is really dead right now. It's like, I only had 2 health. It's like, no, you'll die. 10 times over.
You've really run through this fantasy in your head, haven't you? Just really
playing a lot
killing
harder.
one minion.
It's like, can I hit this so hard it can never be, like, come back? I thought about that all about Clone Priest. Can he just not res this if I kill it hard enough?
Interestingly enough, since casting with you, I've also fantasized about hitting something so hard it just never comes back.
Yeah, I mean, we both have those thoughts about Sol quite often.
Very true. As Bloodyface here, we've kind of just been glossing over the plays so far because it's just been, to be honest, pretty both players just doing their own thing for the most part. Noblord has been clearing off, I suppose, so that Bloodyface can't develop too big of a board to vanish it back. But Bloodyface has been trying to complete the quest. Noblord has been trying to draw cards that are just doing that both to the best of their ability. It's pretty simple for the moment.
These Glacial Shards could make it a little bit awkward once Uther comes into play.
That's true.
Just saying we just don't get to swing for a few turns, so it reduces the chance of the Holy Wrath out being a kill, because it does do the 25. There's Shavala.
Okay, now we're talking.
I think we might even see Coin Uther next turn, just to really get the ball rolling on these Death Knights. I keep calling them Death Knights.
Yeah.
The 4 Horsemen, just in case.
Clears the hand, right? That's pretty good as well.
2
Clear
cards,
up
get the armor,
Christology.
get the weapon, get cooking with the hero power.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
There's already 1 bouncer in hand, and there's Christology and Novice Engineer. You're going to draw the bouncer very quickly anyway. But there's the quest.
The quest completion does make that a little bit more a question mark, though, because you'd be smacking into a Divine Shield, which is the nightmare for Uther. It does not give you the lifesteal effect. So it's possible that instead we see like Pyro Spell Equality, like maybe Pyro Coin Equality. Or
A quality pyro spell.
Right, yeah. That's the way to go about it.
Come on, Darren.
Huntress was literally telling me off for doing this wrong the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Just gotta get the basics right, man.
I know.
Christology gonna do a very nice job. As I mentioned, Christology, unless you have no drops left in your deck, is just always fantastic. 2 mana, draw 2 minions that you can probably get out of your hand, or draw more cards with as well.
Yeah. Noblord here clearly unsure as to how to proceed. Leaving it up is a little bit scary because of Sonya in particular, I suppose. Zola has been played already.
I think leaving it up might be fine, because next turn you're probably going to consider Shavala with that Tango.
He's just playing Shavala. Wow. So leaving it very possibly dying, because this is now indicating Shivala is not his win condition, it's Horseman.
And it can die if Bloodyface so chooses. And with Sonya and deckhands, I don't see why not as far as I'm concerned there.
Yeah. And I mean, Noblord's biggest hope here is that Bloodyface just does not have any value, which to be honest is not far off the mark. If another board clear comes down, or even just a bit of mitigation clearing off the Sonya, Bloodyface really doesn't have that much to do. He has to get so much pressure because of the timeouts as well.
Yeah, Noblord is treading towards the deeper water now, at least, or at least mentally, I feel. Once Shivala's just gone and you've not bounced it, you've not Zola'd it, you've not done anything with it.
Yeah.
Obviously the heal's nice, but once it's just gone, this dual OTK narrows,
Yes,
right? Like,
very
you know,
much so.
you then have to alter your game plan because that is just out of the window, and that is it's pretty hard to do. But we see Bloodyface would just vanish, and this Uther means he can kill off the Sonya, which is absolutely vital. As if Noblord could see the hand now for Bloodyface. It's like, yes,
This is
Sonya, get ripped.
Yeah, this is a weird game, man. Like, obviously, Noblord's play, to be honest, got punished in this particular... Oh, I shouldn't say punished because that indicates it's a bad play. It didn't work out in this instance because Sonya plus deckhand was there, which means the deckhand wouldn't have been able to die to be replayed if Shivala hadn't been played. So he's just closed off an avenue to victory there. He still has a very valid one with the Horseman OTK, but maybe they just don't work out for him. They just give him the wrong Horseman.
Yeah, and then vanish for the Glacial Shard there, and the deckhand, of course, not bad. I will say, though, I think good players can be punished. Like, just, you know, you can make a good play, and it could just be the wrong good play when you've got multiple options.
Yeah,
Or do you sign up to the there is only ever one play school?
kind of.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
You've changed.
Like I was saying, like, you know, Noblord technically made a misplay earlier on in the series by not delivering lethal, but I think it was still the right play because he wasn't certain. He made with a chance that was most likely to deliver a win for him. It's very cool.
Ooh, well, there's some value town right there.
Yeah, that is exactly what you're looking for. Oh. Noblord needs to get a move on right now.
Oh, and there's even the another novice engineer for the Valera the Hollow. You know, maybe in a couple of turns. That's even more cycling.
Bloodyface is just not running out of value.
Yeah,
That is no longer the
the
concern.
pressure's up.
It's just, can Noblord deliver the combo quickly enough?
That's 2 timeouts, so that is a long time if these rolls happen, and that is number 2.
That's not Darian. We're happy with that.
Stupid inside jokes. But timeout, you know, that is many turns, and almost, well, actually probably with the lens, that will lead Noblord to drawing his deck, which means
he will
Baleful
draw his-
Banker will draw
Yes.
the 2-2 if he wants to put one in now. Maybe Baleful Banker now.
Yeah.
Because if he's confident you're going to draw your deck, then it's not a problem waiting.
The problem then becomes, does he accidentally draw it with Prismatic Lens and switch the cost to something that's too expensive?
I don't even think
What
there's
spells?
left.
There's
Too
nothing left.
expensive.
There's nothing that
No.
costs more than 4. And it costing 4 is perfectly acceptable because there's always 2 mana left over with the classic combo. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine.
And now the value's there for Bloodyface, but because of the way Noblord is playing, and, you know,
Yeah.
hitting the right Horseman, let's not mess about with that.
Yeah.
Because it's hit 2 out of 2, then it means that Bloodyface not only needs value, but needs aggression. And suddenly, as we mentioned before, Kango's on the board. You kind of have to kill it, because if you don't, there's a problem. Have we seen any Flash of Lights from Noblord?
I think we saw 1 at the start.
Okay. Because that's really good as well. 2 mana, draw a card.
Just keep
You know,
cycling. Yeah. I mean, like, to be honest, what it's going to come down to for Noblord here is, can he get the right Horseman? But also more than that, can he maximize his odds of getting the right Horseman? Because he has effectively 4 bounce effects in 2 Brewmasters, Zola, and Baleful Banker. He has the opportunity to copy back a Horseman that he already has so as to play it and give himself a 66% chance of getting the right one instead of a 50% chance later on.
Yeah, which is why, you know, for those of you who don't know, you cannot hero power the same Horseman if there's one already on the board.
Yes.
You know, you can't create a copy if one's already sat on the board, which is why, you know, plays like you mentioned, and also just leaving a Horseman on the board, even if it's one that's already been bounced, you increase the chances of it being one that's not been bounced.
As it looks like Bloodyface
I think he has to go for it.
is just leaving up the Horseman here.
He might even...
Does he have to go for it? I think his best odds here are Noblord just missing the combo. Because he has 2 timeouts still. Bloodyface can build up a board that delivers a 1-turn kill in a few turns' time, right? That's not his concern. It's just whether he can hit the right horseman. That is the correct horseman. Noblord has lethal next turn. Timeout to lock it out. I don't think Bloodyface has anything.
There's
Vanish? Does that...
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't
There's
make any
3
difference,
unique
does it?
horsemen in hand. They are played, and then hero power once.
Yep.
The win takes the win, and again, like really brave play from Noblord, I would say, because the second Shivala dies, and you've literally just played Shivala, then it dies, and nothing else. You feel bad, right? Because you can do so much more with that card. But Noblord played it. It did get, punished, we'll say, with the clear, and it didn't matter. Noblord got there with a timeout to spare. Yes, he played 3 separate horsemen. Fair enough, it happens, but that's why the deck's good.
And even with Valera here, Bloodyface can hide
from this,
but he cannot run. As the horsemen hunt him down, delivering the apocalypse, bringing Noblord up 2 games to 1. He only needs a victory now with that Mechathun Warlock. Winning with this Paladin is so huge. 9, something like that. Shivala, Holy Wrath.
Yeah,
just hope you get there.
Well, first off, though, it's going to have to get through with the Rogue out of the Mechathun Warlock. And again, that match, yes, there was a lot of healing involved, but Warlock plays a lot of healing too.
Yeah.
That match went to about, what, turn 11? Turn 12?
Yeah.
And Mechathun wins by then a lot of the time.
It does indeed. Bloodyface can obviously get off to incredibly explosive starts, especially if he is able to stick a board of unbuffed minions and then play the quest into them so that he pushes a lot of damage in 1 turn. In addition to that, I see his main avenue of victory is just hoping Noblord messes up, has a hand that is almost full, 8 or 9 cards, and some minions on the board, and then you can vanish them back to the hand, hope that he overdraws Mechathun or...
any of the combo.
Any of the combo.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah,
If you overdraw 1, you have to try and beat them up with a 10-10.
Yeah. I think Noblord is exactly the kind of player who will not make that mistake, though. I think he knows these kind of matchups very well indeed. But Bloodyface, I think his main avenue of victory, without getting into the slightly more niche stuff like that, is tempo and just trying to aggro out the game by getting the quest done as quick as possible.
While these players just, go through the card draw, go through the quest procs, go through the value, Mechathun in Mechathun Warlock, do you keep it in your mulligan?
I don't think so, right? You just want all the card draw you can possibly have.
Okay. I've seen it happen a few times.
Really?
And the idea being that, well, if you draw Galvanizer, you could just play
just play
Galvanizer.
it. Yeah,
and then,
yeah, I see the
like
point.
everything else comes together, and also Solarium gets quicker to play on paper because you've already got 1 piece guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's not. I have no real thoughts on it
Yeah.
yet because I've not played enough. It's just an interesting keep I've seen once or twice.
It would be very interesting. It's somewhat comparable, although a bit worse, I would say, to nowadays to keeping Uther in OTK Paladin,
Right.
where you have so much draw. You can draw through your whole deck, usually by about turn 10 or 11, that you're very likely to find Uther anyway, so you only keep it in the matchups that you really, really need it as quick as possible.
And we see the high 5 Brewmaster swap. Tag in, tag out, tag in, tag out.
It's like a Friday night down in England. Drink with me, friend. No, you drink with me, friend.
Just can't decide on where to go.
Exactly, yeah.
Corpse Taker is available, but most importantly, these 2 Acolytes can't really live up to their full potential with this board state combined with this hand.
Yeah, he could go for a kind of high roll with drawing and hope to get Defile or even just a Mortal Coil just to damage them a little bit and then attack in. But instead, Noblord here is just kind of accepting their mediocre draw potential.
I hope you like my invention.
Yes, Coil.
Yeah, that's nice.
Don't see why not. Can still follow up with a tap or Novice Engineer. Although on average,
right,
tap's
yeah.
just better because you can tap again next turn and then the turn after.
He is also... wow. He is now at 8 cards with 2 cards in play, so he is vulnerable to prep Vanish into exactly overdrawing one of the combo pieces. I wouldn't expect Bloodyface to do that even if he could. Just worth considering, though, that there is the potential for overdrawing of combo pieces, which would pretty much lock Noblord out of the game.
Makes me laugh as well, like Corpse Taker is almost never played in matchups that aren't aggro. It's always a card that's just in the hand all game.
Yeah.
So funny.
Well, that's the benefit of playing the Mechathun Warlock, is you can play cards that are a little bit more expensive because you don't have to play them.
Yeah.
Cataclysm just destroys everything.
Okay, the Hellfire now with the Spellstone in hand, along with that Kobold Librarian, means that, you know, as and when Noblord desires, he can get a pretty hefty Spellstone, which is going to help with some pressure.
Noblord here has entered the situation, though, where he is incredibly vulnerable to that Vanish, as I pointed out. He did not defile his own board here.
Okay, Derek, I'm asking you straight up. Your Bloodyface, do you ever do it and just say, this is the way I might win?
He's drawn the prep, so he can bounce back one of his own minions as well. He can play the Brewmaster, prep Vanish. Well, he's got the quest completion anyway. I honestly don't know. I
Hey,
guess
Bloodyface gone for the quest?
he's more likely to win just through minion pressure, as I said.
Because he could get it done relatively quickly, right? You know, turn
Yeah.
6 quest, having it actually activated as well.
Because he has no idea what his odds are of burning a relevant combo piece. Because he has no idea how many are in hand or how many are in deck.
Because Noblord could have them all and he could have none.
Exactly.
There's no tells, apart from when you see Galvanizer, you know one of them's Mechathune.
I mean, if he knew they were all in the deck and he's like, okay, 50-50 to win, he'd probably just take that.
Right.
Because even if he misses, the game's not over. Still gets the one overdraw anyway. So I guess they're kind of best of both worlds there.
That's true.
And that is pretty fortunate for Noblord with still 3 out of the 5 combo pieces in hand. In deck, sorry.
Right. That's a Spellstone just to put him back up at slightly safer health total. Wax Elemental, not bad at all. But again, so many minions still on the board. Just have to ask the question. If it was me, I would definitely try and cheese a win.
Yeah, because the only way that Vanish gets better than this is if you have a bunch of charge minions in play and you bounce them back to deliver lethal.
Yes. But the problem is, your opponent's on 28, and they have 7 cards left next turn on the draw.
They're getting there. They are getting there.
Maximum 7 cards left, because guess what? They're probably going to draw more cards next turn.
Yeah.
And also, Noblord can just defile next turn. If Vanish doesn't come down and just be like, yeah, well, whatever, they're all
Eventually
gone
it
now.
just stops working. Such a tough position for Bloodyface.
The problem is, if he vanishes now, he does nothing else.
He plays Wax Elemental, I guess, is the best thing, which is fine.
Yeah, I guess it's not bad.
I wonder.
His alternative is just play Novice, start bouncing it, and look for better cards. Because his hand sucks right now. He's just going for it, man.
Everyone, hold on to your seats. Hold your breath. Not
knew this
from
would happen.
Noblord. And we just got to see what gets burned, because this game changes quite dramatically. Plays a shot. A laugh and a shake of the head. Rub of the forehead. Wipe that sweat from your brow, Noblord. You are safe for now. But that'll give him a bit of a kick and be like, right, that a second Vanish cannot happen this now. That I cannot deal with this again because there are barely any cards left.
I think that was like, what, 3 out of 8 odds there to burn a key card that he needs to win the game.
Yeah.
Bloodyface had 2 chances. He had 2 overdraws this game and missed both of them.
Wow. He taps it.
And Noblord here is still putting himself in a position, which he kind of has to, where Vanish could mess him up again.
Oh my. Vanish? Okay.
This is so close, dude.
And Noblord's still got a few more cards to draw, and
Yes.
it's only the Novice Engineer that draws him anything right now in his hand.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit cloggy.
Half of his deck now is vital to him winning this game.
I'm surprised he's not throwing out those defiles. I really am.
He clearly just thinks he is more likely to lose by giving his opponent time than he is to overdrawing a key combo piece.
I don't know about that, Derek.
I don't know. Yeah. That
Now
could
it's
just be a
literally
miscalculation.
like 50% of his deck
Yeah.
is a combo piece right now. And Bloodyface cannot do anything about that because he's not got another Vanish yet.
Obviously, no saps anymore in Quest Rogue for a long time.
Too soon.
Shuffling more draw into his deck, I suppose that keeps it about the same to find Vanish. Obviously, he can't play multiple Novice Engineers at the same turn and still Vanish. But I think he's realizing more and more that's his win condition.
Galvi, but again,
He can't play it.
it's kind of the thing I mentioned earlier, and you know, I don't know the answer to that question, but you know, if you just had Mechathune in your deck the whole game, these Galvanizers get thrown out whenever you want. wouldn't have burnt as many. I'm not saying Noblord did this or made this choice, but just this deck isn't going anywhere anytime soon, I feel. So these questions, there's Blood Bloom, but...
Would I was going to say, I guess Noblord would rather have this minion be alive than not alive in his corpse taker, because he could have ordered that differently where all his minions died. I guess it's more likely he dies to just being killed in one turn, right? So it's probably worth it to have that in play. But now all of a sudden, Bloodyface is getting a pretty sizable board.
And there's still cards left.
Yeah.
There's still draw.
It's starting to take over here.
That's oh, he can't even play it. He can't play it.
I hope you like my invention.
There's the Mecha'thun. He clears the board this turn. He can just play Solarium now, right?
Yes.
Oh no, wait, but next turn he still has to play double Galvanizer. So
so he's got one more turn. Yeah. No point taking the extra fatigue.
Yeah, you just hold back.
And this is what I mean, right? Like, this could have already been done if he'd drawn Mecha'thun earlier. It's crazy.
Bloodyface just hyper drawing through his deck right now, trying to find anything that keeps him in this game. Or just wins him the game right now. Not even keep him in it. He has to win, like, right now. Overdraw is no longer a consideration.
He has to set up, right?
He has to set up lethal this turn.
So does he just splurge it all onto the board?
You have to, right?
Because, yeah, I don't know what else you do.
Even though your opponent has every card, so you can't play around anything.
Yeah. You have one turn to make it good, and all I see is drop those cards. That's 16 plus 4 from the deckhand, 5 from the dagger, plus a draw. So Noblord. Ziliax is going to be MVP here. Ziliax into Defile, right?
Ziliax. And then...
Thanos.
Thanos Defile. That looks like it clears the board to me.
Can't play it now, though. Oh, sorry, the reduction.
Just the reduction. It's the perfect mana reduction.
Noblord knew all along!
He clears the board.
Gains more health now because of the fall from the...
Oh, okay.
He's just doing it this way instead.
Different line.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I always forget about Magnetize.
It makes basically no difference. He pretty much cannot die on
his last card is Cheaty Ankle Biter, which is really funny because the Corpse Taker gets lifesteal still, even though it's not taunted.
Oh no, wait, how much damage
20,
did he take?
right?
20 damage.
So he needed that heal to win.
Oh, I don't know, maybe that was the way to go for it. I feel like maybe our line was more likely to keep him
Guess
alive.
what? Don't hit me at all.
Whatever. Whatever.
That is a spicy meatball. Noblord leans back. I think he knows. I think we know. But we're about to find out as Mecha'thun is going to... Oh, no,
he's going to lifesteal. He gets the lifesteal.
Oh, the lifesteal saved him!
It would have been a draw otherwise.
Oh, the cheaty Ankle Biter being the last card in the deck.
Won him this game.
Noblord. Bloodyface is walking away, but most importantly, congratulations to Noblord. What a game. We didn't know how to cast half of these games that happened in this series, Derek, but it was fun nonetheless.